Yes,
Thank
Prabhuji.
you. Thank you. First of all, wishing you all a very happy Mother's Day to all the wonderful, amazing mothers. We're very, very grateful. Because of you all, we are all here. So thank you. We'll start with small kirtan. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jai Radha Yashodhanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodhanandana Yashodhanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodhanandana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jai Radha Yashodhanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodhanandana Yamuna Tiravanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Radha Gopi Jana Vallabha Radha Gopi Jana Vallabha Radhe Nitai Patita Pavan Gaura Hari Jaya Nitai Patita Pavan Gaura Hari Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Very good afternoon to everybody. First of all, on behalf of ISKCON Farmington Hills, we are very, very happy to welcome you all for this Sunday Feast program. As you all know, today is Mother's Day. Many years back, when Mother's Day was not so popular in India, one devotee came and asked another senior devotee, I happened to be there. He was asking about Mother's Day because that's the time it came to India and people knew about it. So he was asking, as devotees, it's not an auspicious day, right? Should we celebrate it? Then the senior devotee immediately corrected. Who said it is not auspicious? Of course it is auspicious. Why? Because it's connected to mothers. And he said, devotees, yukta vairagya, they follow that. So every is to glorify the Supreme Lord and all. And of course, when it comes, if I ask you, what are some of the most powerful words in the material world? Can anyone say some of the most powerful words? Anyone? Mother, right? In your language, you can say. Let's try to, know about the name of mother in different languages. Like in Tamil, in Malayalam, we call Amme. In Marathi, it is I. And in Marwadi, it is Mai in some languages, right? Is that right? Yes. Ma, Mataji, all these are amazing words and very powerful. Anyone, if you just tell them, how's your mother? As soon as they hear the word mother, goes in there, right? It's an emotion. The word is an emotion. It's not just a word. So when it comes to Mother's Day, all of us are emotionally connected. So of course we can celebrate it. So nice with gratitude. So this is a day of gratitude. This is the day we express our gratitude to all. And some time ago, maybe a year ago, I believe, I heard a nice class on Mother's Day by my Pad Pratarshaka Guru. That means the devotee who brought me to Krishna consciousness, who happened to be I happen to be her husband. Hemanga Gopi. So inspired, from that class. So quite a bit I'll be speaking from there. So that is okay. Let's begin with. So today, our class, we will try to understand different personalities in Srimad Bhagavatam. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is the greatest of all scriptures. It is the king of all scriptures. So we call that as Grantharaj. So let's begin with Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. From Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Can anyone say what is the title of chapter 9 of Bhagavad Gita quickly? The most confidential knowledge, right? Bhagavad Gita has 18 chapters. So in that, middle 6 chapters are very important. In that, the 9th chapter is very, very important. In that, this particular verse comes. So let's try to read this. Pitahamasya jagato Mata data pitamaha Vedyam pavitram omkara Riksama yajurevacha. Any children, can you read the translation, please? Students, anyone?
The father of this universe, the mother, the support, and the grandeur, and the object of knowledge, the purifier and the syllable of. I am also the Rig, the Sama, and the Yajurveda.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Translation and purport was given by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Draupathi ki Jai. Due to purport is an amazing purport. So when you find time, please do read. It's amazing. The entire cosmic manifestations, moving or non-moving, are manifested by different activities of Krishna's energy. Let's read it, because Prabhupada's purports are more important than anything. In the material existence, we create different relationships with different living entities who are nothing but Krishna's marginal energy. Under the creation of Prakriti, some of them appear as our mother, father, grandfather, creator, etc. But actually, they are part and parcels of Krishna. As such, these living entities who appear to be our father, mother, etc. are nothing but Krishna. In this verse, the word Data means creator. Not only our father and mother, parts and parcels of Krishna, but the creator, grandmother, and grandfather, etc. are also Krishna. Actually, any living entity being part and parcel of Krishna is Krishna. All the Vedas aim only towards Krishna. Whatever we want to know through the Vedas is but a progressive step towards understanding Krishna. That subject matter, which helps us purify our constitutional position, is especially Krishna. Similarly, the living entity who is inquisitive to understand all Vedic principles is also part and parcel of Krishna, and as such is also Krishna. In all the Vedic mantras, the word Om is called Pranava, is a transcendental sound vibration, and is also Krishna. And because in all the hymns of the four Vedas, Sama, Yajur, Rik, Atharva, and Atharva, the Pranava, or Omkara is very prominent. It is understood to be Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadhamayam Tadadi Swapadandikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yudapadakavalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vidam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lita Shri Vishakan Vidamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpadaropyascha Kripa Sandubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. It's a beautiful verse which clearly says, Krishna clearly says in this verse, I am the father of the whole universe. I am the mother, the support and the grandchild. I am the object of all the knowledge. Prabhupada, in one of the lecture given in Los Angeles, he says this point very nicely. Actually, for a child to know who the father is, who is supposed to say? The mother has to say. So similarly, to know the Supreme Father, Krishna, the Vedic knowledge, the Vedic scriptures, all the holy books, the Vedic knowledge is called Veda Mata. So the Vedic knowledge is called mother. So through the mother, we know the father. So it's beautiful. Let's try to understand the value of word mother. Can we put a value to it? Absolutely not. They are very precious, right? Especially, some words are very, very dear to us. In that, one of the top, word is mother. Once, Shyamananda Krishna Prabhuji, Shyamananda Krishna Prabhuji narrated this pastime so beautifully. One day in Vrindavan, when Krishna was a little boy, at that time, one fruit vendor lady who sells fruits, she came to. Those days, they had a bartering system. Bartering in the sense there is no cash or currency. They barter with things. They give one thing, in turn, they give you another object, another item. So this lady came with a lot of wonderful, amazing fruits, mangoes, bananas, all the wonderful fruits. And she came with a nice basket and he came to, Krishna's palace, Nanda Maharaj's palace. And she was asking, does anyone like to have some fruits? And then Krishna heard these fruits. And, when children, when they see the parents do something, they also want to imitate, right? They also want to buy things. They also want to sell things like that. And Krishna heard this. Today, I'm going to help my father and mother. So what he did, Usually what my mother does, she goes and brings some things to get something. So let me go to the kitchen and get raw rice and take as much as possible, and then go to the lady and get fruits. My mother will be very happy. So Krishna rushed into the kitchen and took handful of rice. And child is a child. Krishna was trying to hold it, but by the time he was running towards the entrance of the house, most of the rice fell down. Hardly few grains were left. So Krishna came with so much happiness, and he came to the lady and said, "Here, please take and give me some fruits." And she was drinking, swallowing his beauty. Amazing. Actually, this lady, he came not to sell fruits. She came only to drink Krishna's beauty. She was appreciating every limb of Krishna. And she happily accepted, not even looking at what is he giving, just looking at Krishna like this. And hardly few grains were there. And she just put it in the basket and said, "Please take it." She filled Krishna's hands with so many fruits, and Krishna couldn't hold it. He was a little boy, just kept on towering it up. And Krishna became so happy. "Look at this. I got so many fruits. My mother and father will be extremely happy." So he said, "Thank you." And he just ran inside with all the fruits. And this lady, she couldn't take her eyes off Krishna. She kept looking. And after some time, when Krishna went inside, she took her basket and she came back to her residence. And she was all along, throughout her way, she was thinking about, what a personality, what an amazing, beauty Krishna has. And everything about Krishna is so wonderful. So thinking that, she kept the basket. To her surprise, there were so many wonderful, amazing jewels. Everything was so precious. Gems, diamonds, rubies, everything, you name it, it's all there. So the basket was filled with all the jewels. Just imagine if any one of us, get something like that, how happy would be, right? So thank you, Krishna. Thank you so much for giving such, wonderful gifts. But that lady, that Mataji, she immediately thought, what is this? Krishna tricked me? I'm not good. She dumped all the jewels under a tree where she was near her residence. Without even turning back, she entered the palace. And this time again said, "Does anyone would like to have fruits?" Krishna heard this. Krishna understood. He's the Supreme Lord. He knew that she's coming to have my darshan again. So Krishna again went, took some grains and came, very happily he came and said, "Mata, you want this, right? Please take it." And that time, Mataji said, "I want you now. I want you to sit on my lap and call me Maya." Then Krishna wanted to hear that again. He said, "Call me Maya. Please sit down." Krishna sat down and said, "Maya, that's it. Life is equal to this word, and especially when it is connected with the Supreme Lord." We'll be talking about that. Is very important. Everything must connect with Krishna. Then it is amazingly wonderful. Now we will see some of the qualities. Would anyone like to say what are the qualities? As soon as you think about the word mother, you say any Mataji's, Prabhu's. I think we should ask Prabhu's. We should appreciate them, right? Please tell us. Sacrifice? No? They tolerate us all the time, right? Yeah. Selflessness, compassion and forgiveness, one of the very important qualities. Guidance and support. Our first guru is our mother, right? She guides, gives us support, sacrifice by personal example. See one by one, all the personalities we are going to discuss, they have all these qualities in abundance. But the prominent one in each of them, we'll try to choose that and try to discuss for our purification. So at this time, I sincerely seek the blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas to bless me so that I can say the right words to glorify the Supreme Lord and the world. let's start with Narada Muni's mother. Like we will in first canto, in Vyasadeva, when he was little, he was not satisfied. That's the right word. He was not satisfied. He was feeling incomplete. At that time, Narada Muni's Guru Maharaj arrives, right? They have a conversation. During the conversation, then he asked further questions. At that time, Narada Muni, he says his own stories. I'm trying to make it a little shorter so we can go and cover as much as possible. So at that time, he mentions about his mother. In the previous life, Narada Muni was Upabarhana. He was a Gandharva, and due to his mistake, not chanting the holy names, not doing the proper kirtan, he was cursed. In the sense, he was not singing the glories of the Supreme Lord in a particular assembly. So due to which he was cursed to become a son of a maid servant. So in this life, Narada Muni, second life, he was a son of a maid servant. But this particular Mataji, her only service was, there was a Dharmashala. Whoever comes there, she would serve them selflessly. And especially those days, many devotees would come and stay in the Dharmashala. And she would serve them very nicely, very meticulously. And Narada Muni at that time, he was hardly 5 years old. He personally saw how his mother was selflessly serving all these great devotees. And by his mother's blessings and the blessings of all these great Bhakti Vedantas, Prabhupada calls them Bhakti Vedantas, these pure devotees, by their mercy, Narada Muni got pure devotion. And here, Narada Muni says in the first canto, 5th chapter, 23rd verse, "Oh Muni, in the last millennium, I was born as a engaged in the service of the Brahmanas who are following the principles of Vedanta." So, by seeing the personal, what is the name of Narada Muni's mother, but it's not mentioned. I don't know. Does anyone know what is the name of Narada Muni's mother? We don't know. It's not mentioned. But Narada Muni remembers her with gratitude because of that and because of the mercy of the Bhakti Vedantas. Here he is. And in the third life, he became Narada Muni. Right? Some other time, when we get an opportunity, we'll share that. Bhumi Devi. She is the personification of patience. In many languages they use somebody who is patient, they would say, she is as patient as Bhumi Devi. Bhumi Devi, not only she is patient, she is very tolerant, tolerating all our mischiefs in this planet. If you see whatever people are doing in this planet, it's mostly mischiefs. And she is tolerating everything. Studying out. Here, she prays to the Supreme Lord. My Lord, what will happen to, my children who are the living entities in this world? Please do something. At that time, the Lord says, if a person who will mind and body in good fertile thinks of me as the birthless one, when such a person reaches the time of death, lying insentient like a log of wood or stone, and becomes unable to think, I will remember the person. I will remember that person at that time and take him to the highest state. So Lord Varahadev, because of the mercy, because of the prayers of Mother Bhumi Devi, he is acting the promise. Don't worry. Who will give the remembrance? Don't worry. Suniti. Mother Suniti, we all know. This appears in the 4th canto. Right? How Mother Suniti, she was very Uttanapad. Uttanapad at the time, he was ruling the entire planet. He was an emperor, but he had many queens. But unfortunately, Suniti was not the favorite one. His favorite one was Suruchi. So, even though she obtained, because the king Uttanapad was not paying attention to Suniti. So, she was feeling quite we can say in a word like quite depressed, not being taken care properly. And here, Dhruva Maharaj, who is the son of Suniti, we all know the story. He was trying to sit on the lap of Uttanapad, and Suruchi, she didn't want him to, because her son Uttama was there on the other lap. She said, no, if you want to sit on the lap of Uttanapad, you need to take birth in my womb. So that means to say that just get out and get lost. And little boy, 5-year-old boy, he felt so offended. He was deeply hurt. And imagine children, their innocence, that hurt. He was literally crying tears profusely. He ran. Where do we go when we are at most suffering? To our mother. He ran to his mother. Mother Suniti was there doing some, household work. And she was dressed in a very simple cloth. He came and jumped on the mother, and mother immediately hugged and kissed him and put Dhruva Maharaj on her lap. And then she asked, what happened? With crying, she was saying, this is what happened, Father, this is what happened. He was literally crying, couldn't take it. And he was breathing so heavily. Just imagine the state of mother. When mother sees the crying of the child, what happens? Immediately heart melted. She also became so deeply emotionally affected. And she was also breathing very heavily. And Bhagavatam says, Dirgham swashanti vrijinasya param apashyati balakamaha bala ma mangalam data pareshu mamsta bhungte janoyat paradukkatastad. She was breathing very heavily. She did not know what to do actually. She did not know the factual remedy for this painful situation. Not finding any remedy, she said to her son, my dear son, do not wish for anything inauspicious for others. Can you see what is the nature of mother's heart? Mother Suniti here. Such an atrocity happened. It is a intolerable offense happened. But she's saying, don't think anything bad about Suruchi or Uttama. Don't think any inauspicious thing. Whoever caused any pain, they themselves will suffer. But you don't say any inauspicious word. This is an amazing mother. By personal example. And she guides properly now. Very important verse in Srimad Bhagavatam. She's the one first says, and amazingly, Nanyam tada padma palashalochanat dukkha chidam te mrigayami kanchana yo mrigyate hasta grihida padmaya shriyetarairanga vimrigyamanaya. Perfect instruction. She says, my dear Dhruva, as far as I am concerned, I don't find anyone who can mitigate your miseries, your distress. But the Supreme Personality, whose eyes are like lotus petals, many demigods such as Lord Brahma seek the pleasure of the goddess of fortune. But the goddess of fortune herself, with the lotus flower in her hand, is always ready to render service to the Supreme Lord. Can you read this translation again? You can see very depth instruction, actually loaded, fully loaded. Not only saying, go to Krishna, okay, just pray. Not like that. Go to Krishna. And I can tell you, no one else can do that. Only he can do that. Giving complete knowledge in one verse and perfect instruction. And further says, don't think that he's an ordinary person. Everybody in this world is trying to impress Mother Lakshmi Devi. They want to somehow get her mercy. But she, with a lotus flower, she is waiting to serve Krishna, right? So he's not an ordinary person. He's a supreme person. So go and worship him. So your miseries will be mitigated, will be completely gone. This is a perfect mother. And so after that, we know what happened to Dhruva Maharaj, right? Dhruva Maharaj listened. He actually followed what mother said. He went to the forest, and because he took that instruction seriously and he had a determination to worship the Lord sent his guru Narada Muni. And it is said, some of you, many of you might remember the story of little bird who was trying to dry up the ocean. In that story also, if you see, the bird did not call, oh Garuda, please come and help. But by seeing the determination, don't worry, I'll take care of it. And he threatened the ocean and said, hey, if you don't give the eggs back, you're finished. Then the ocean god came and gave the eggs and everything was okay. All for Narada Muni. He didn't say, oh Krishna, please send somebody who can. But seeing his determination, the Supreme Lord, who is always there as Paramatma in every living entity's heart, he sent Narada Muni, the perfect Guru and the perfect disciple. The perfect Guru, Narada Muni, initially he was trying to trick, but Dhruva Maharaj was fixed, determined. Then Narada Muni guided him what to chant. He gave the mantra, and Dhruva Maharaj's life is perfect. And if you all remember, towards Bhagavatam amazingly explains how towards the end, after so many pastimes happened in Dhruva Maharaj's life, and then what happened when he was about to leave, the Vaikuntha airplane came. So two personalities, Nanda, exactly pilots. We don't call them as pilots. They are actually Vishnu's servants, Krishna's servants. They came personally to take Dhruva Maharaj back to Vaikuntha. So at that time, Dhruva Maharaj, he did not say them, excuse me, sir, can you also take my mother? He didn't say like that. He was thinking, I am going to the spiritual world. What about my wonderful mom? So loving. She gave the perfect instruction, all in mind. Then immediately Nanda and Sunanda, they said, Dhruva, look up. And she's there. There was another Vaikuntha airplane. And Dhruva Maharaj's mother, Suniti, was carried in that airplane. She was with folded hands looking at Dhruva. And he became so happy. Thank you, thank you. Can you imagine? The mother who gave perfect instruction. But Dhruva Maharaj did everything. Mother did not do the tapasya. She did other kind of tapasya. But here, Dhruva Maharaj did everything. But because the mother gave perfect instruction and being the mother of such a wonderful devotee, she automatically received the blessings and mercy. In fact, before him, because she was going before Dhruva Maharaj. That is Krishna's mercy and mother's love. Now let's go to the next personality, great personality, Draupathi Mata. She is an emblem of compassion and forgiveness. Why do I say that? Everyone in this, whomever we mentioned, everybody has this quality. But here particularly in Bhagavatam, in the 7th chapter, this rascal Ashwatthama, you heard this guy. Why I say rascal? Because when somebody does a mistake and when they are punished, at least we should learn a lesson. This guy, first time, he killed all the sons of Draupathi Mata brutally. They are children and they were sleeping. They were not even warriors. They were little children. When they were sleeping, Ashwatthama came and massacred them, killed them all. And there were 5 sons actually. Excuse me. By seeing that everyone was upset, even Duryodhana, his master, Ashwatthama's master, he didn't like this idea. People thought, actually Ashwatthama thought, by doing this, I'll please Duryodhana. But Duryodhana was disgusted, saying, are you crazy guy? Why did you do this like that? So by seeing this, Arjuna got so angry. He said, this guy must be finished. So he came to kill him. At that time, first time he shot Brahmastra. We all know. Krishna was there personally. Krishna said, to counteract a Brahmastra, you need to shoot another Brahmastra. So Arjuna shot a Brahmastra, and that Brahmastra and this Brahmastra, they counteracted each other, and that was gone. And then what happened? Arjuna literally caught hold of him and he brought him to the chamber of Draupathi Mata, and everyone came forward. All the brothers, Pandavas, Krishna was there, everyone. So while coming itself, Krishna said, this guy need to be finished. You need to kill him because aggressors can be killed. It is allowed and there is no sin in it. So they were literally insisting Arjuna that you must kill this Ashwatthama. Don't forgive him. So Arjuna was also in that. But when they brought in front of Mother Draupadi, who was grieving, going through such a severe, tragic pain, and by looking at Ashwatthama, we all would think that, generally this is the tendency. Yes, kill him, finish him, cut him. This is what we would think. But the emotion from Draupathi Mata was completely shocking. First time when I read, I couldn't even comprehend. Really? Somebody can be like this? And she was. Everything is a charitra. Mahabharata is a charitra. That means it's a history. This happened the same way it is given in Mahabharata and Srimad Bhagavatam. And she, amazingly, she said, don't kill Ashwatthama. In fact, release him, let him go. And she started giving one by one arguments. The arguments was perfectly shastrically oriented. Amazing arguments. Even Arjuna wouldn't have thought that, wow, like that, she was trying to convince him, don't kill him. And you know what? He's a son of a Brahmana, your teacher, your spiritual master, Dronacharya, don't kill him. And furthermore, she says, you should be having a gratitude, right? You should be grateful to your guru. Then how can you kill your guru's son? Don't kill him, let him go. Then guru, father is represented by his son. So you should never kill him. The third one, she says, do not cause any grief to the glorious family members who are respectable and worshipable. Because Guru is always worshipable. So you should never cause any pain to them. And the fourth one is even amazing. She's saying, Kripi, the mother of Ashwatthama. Kripi is the sister of Kripacharya. You know, right? Dronacharya and Kripacharya, they're related too. So, Kripi, I don't want her to go through the pain which I am going through. I know, losing a children is the worst tragic pain in the life. I never want anyone to go through that. Especially Kripi, I don't want her to go through this pain. And further she says, it is also a duty as a Kshatriya to respect Brahmana and protect them. So let him go. Let him go like that. So everyone else got completely pacified except who? Bhima. Bhima said, no, that's not fair. We should not let him go. We should finish him up. We should kill him. And then Krishna, being the Supreme Lord, he very nicely managed the situation. He gave an idea, yes, aggressors must be punished. For a warriors, you can insult them. That is as good as death. So you took away his, crown, and also, the garments as well as hair. Shave his head off. So when you do that, it is as good as death for him. Though they shaved his head off, they took out his crown and kicked him away. And that was worst insult for him. And what happened to this Ashwatthama after that? He became so humiliated in the situation, right? Because he lost his hair, and everyone will come to know, oh, he was insulted by Arjuna, like that. So, but things were settled properly. He also got punished. At the same time, his life was saved. So Ashwatthama came back. He couldn't bear this insult. So next time he thought, I should finish the last hair of Pandava family also. So what he did, let me shoot another Brahmastra. The problem with this guy is, see, first time he shot Brahmastra, he got insulted. He didn't learn the lesson. He said, let me shoot another Brahmastra and finish the embryo in the womb of Uttara. Uttara is the wife of Abhimanyu. Abhimanyu is the son of Arjuna, right? So he was the only one left. So let me finish him also. She shot a Brahmastra. What did Mother Uttara do at that time? She immediately ran towards Krishna. At that time, Krishna was about to leave for Dwaraka, because after the Kurukshetra, after everything is taken care, Maharaj Yudhishthira was coronated as the emperor of the entire world. Everything was taken care. So he said, it is time to go for me back to Dwaraka. So about at that time, she came running. Pahi, Pahi, Mahayogin. She came with such an intense prayer. Krishna, please protect me. No one else can protect. My embryo, my child in my womb is in danger. Only you can help. Please help. And what did Krishna do? Krishna was there in front of everybody. All the Pandavas, all the great personalities are there to see him off. That time, Krishna immediately entered the womb of Mother Uttara and protected the embryo, who was Parikshit Maharaj, from the danger of Brahmastra. And Parikshit Maharaj was protected. After that, what happened? Now comes, now you discussed about Draupathi Mata, right? So before moving on to Kunti, because after that, the next chapter talks about the prayers of Queen Kunti, the 8th chapter, I believe. Yes, 8th chapter. Talks about Queen Kunti's prayers. Queen Kunti is also another great personality. But coming back to Draupathi Mata's compassion and forgiveness, can we imagine, in this situation, when somebody can forgive, we can definitely appreciate the heart of a great mother and see the connection. All these personalities, they have a strong connection with Krishna. And next personality is Kunti Mata. And before that, we are all eternally grateful to our Srila Prabhupada, right? So Srila Prabhupada's mother, Rajani Devi, and she took so many austerities. She performed so many austerities. so many vows she took for the protection of our Srila Prabhupada. We'll discuss quickly about it. Prabhupada would fondly remember, our founder Acharya would fondly remember about her mother, so many instances, many instances. And Prabhupada would say, mother, he was actually the most favorite of all, both for father and mother. Mother Rajni Devi, father Gaur Mohan Devi, for both of them. And every time when Abhay Charan, Prabhupada's name was Abhay Charan at that time, he was a little boy, mother would actually take a saliva and put it on his forehead every time and say a prayer and then send him. Even if he goes out to play with his friends, she would do that every time. And Prabhupada also, Abhay Charan, he would stand and take that blessing and then go. Every time she would give that blessings. And when Prabhupada once, when he was going through some sickness as a young boy, she made so many vows. She offered her own blood also to a goddess at that time. And another time, she took a vow not to eat with her right hand until Abhay Charan grew up and asked, Mom, mother, why are you eating with your left hand? Why not right hand? Until then, she continued to eat with left hand. And as thought about, this happened. One day, Abhay Charan, he asked, Mother, why are you eating with your left hand, not right hand? Then at that time, she switched over. In case if Prabhupada didn't ask this question, she would have continued to. She was ready to do anything for her child. Another instance, once, when Prabhupada was eating watermelon, he accidentally swallowed the seed of watermelon. When we were children, our friends would always tease, right? You ate a seed, what will happen? You will have a tree in your stomach. Tree will become very big and your stomach will explode like that. They will scare us, right? We'll be terrified by hearing that at that time. So he was, as a little boy, he was very scared. He came running to her mother, Rajni Devi, and said, Mother, everybody's saying I'll have a tree in my tummy, So what to do? Then immediately said, don't worry, I'll chant a mantra. When she started chanting some mantras, he said, now all is taken care, nothing to worry. Prabhupada had amazing faith that whatever mother does is always for the best. And Mother Rajni Devi, her entire life was for the welfare of the children. And especially Prabhupada had so many fond, amazing memories. Her whole life was sacrifice and care. She also showed some strictness, but that is needed to discipline the child. But care was very prominent all the time. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Prabhupada's mother Rajni Devi Mataji ki jai. And in this, immediately this came. And I heard it from my, best half about this. This is the first time I heard about Sumitra Mata, about selflessness and cooperation. Sumitra Mata we know, right? Lord Ram's one of the mothers. Lord Ram's biological mother, we can say she is Kaushalya. How many of you have been to Tirupati? Most of you, right? Tirupati, Balaji heard about. What is the first song or kirtan they play in Tirupati? Kaushalya Supraja Rama Purva Sandhya Pravartate, right? It starts from, son of Kaushalya. Please wake up, O Rama, like that. So that is how the importance is given. So Kaushalya and then KKE, Sumitra. These three are the, we can say, important queens or prominent queens of Dasharath Maharaj. He had many queens. These three are the prominent ones. So we know the pastime, right? Rishya Shringa, he performed the yajna, Putra Kameshti yajna, wanting of a boy. So after performing this Putra Kameshti yajna, he gave kheer, payasam, to Dasharath Maharaj. And Dasharath Maharaj is supposed to distribute to the principal queens. So first he gave to Kaushalya. So actually, just imagine a bowl of kheer is there, payasam is there. He divided into half. 50% he gave it to Kaushalya. And Kaushalya immediately, with so much deep devotion prayers, oh my Lord, please appear in my womb. Supreme Lord, please appear in my womb. With that prayer, she honored payasam. And then he actually, in that half, he actually again divided into two and gave one half to Sumitra Mata. And Sumitra Mata, second to KKE, right? Gave to KKE. And KKE actually, she also prayed, my son has to be a glorious son, has to be a wonderful devotee. And he also has to rule the entire planet, entire kingdom. And she honored the prasad with that prayer. And then the next, he had the next half, right? He was actually offering to, that also he divided, and he gave the 12.5% to Sumitra Mata. And Sumitra Mata, she prayed like this: "Oh my Lord, I want a child who will serve both my sister's children. I want a child who will serve both my sister's children. So please give me a servant of them." And seeing this, understanding this, Dasharath Maharaj became very happy. He was deeply affected by it. What a personality, Sumitra Mataji, right? Generally, as a mother, as a parent, we always want boss. We always want boss anu boss, not das anu das. But she was thinking, I want a servant who will be serving both their sister's children. Seeing this, Dasharath Maharaj, the other half also, he gave it to Sumitra Mata and said, please take this also. So she took 2 halves. So due to which Lakshmanji and Bharat Maharaj appeared. And for Kaushalya, Shatrugna appeared, excuse me. Bharat Maharaj appeared in KK. And then for Kaushalya, Lord Ram appeared. That Sumitra Mata, as days rolled on, when Ram was banished to forest, at that time, Lakshmanji decided, I have to go with them. But throughout their life, Lakshmanji and Shatrugna, they were always serving both Ram and Bharat very nicely, with so much sincerity. And even when they were playing, when sometimes, we get some special food items coming from somewhere, like for example, sometimes when we get Tirupati Laddu, which is very, very special, or some prasadam from Vrindavan, Mahaprasad, we want to distribute to children, right? So mother would distribute, Sumitra would distribute prasadam to Lakshmanji. And before he was honored, he would also think, I should give to Ram and Bharat. And she would also ask, so did you give to Ram and Bharat? And he would happily run towards them and say, Bhaiya, please take it. He would honor. Then he would take it. That is how their life was. All along, both Lakshman and Shatrugna, their happiness was serving Ram and Bharat. And as the day passed, when the time came for Ram to go to forest, at that time he was thinking, I should go. And before that, Sumitra Mata says, Lakshman, don't you think you should also follow your brother? You should also follow him. And that came from a mother. And not just for a vacation, right? They are not going for a vacation, 2 days, enjoying in a resort. It is 14 years in a forest. Those days, forests were really forest. Really forest. That means filled with jungle, animals, ferocious animals, and everything was dense. So she knew the austerities and the difficulties they're going to face. But still, she said, you must go. And Lakshman immediately accepted that. Thank you, mother. This is what I was also thinking. This verse, beautiful verse appears there. Ramam Dasharatham Vidhi Mam Vidhi Janakatmajam Ayodhyam Atavim Vidhi Gachatata Yat Sukham. This is the words from Mother Sumitra. She says, no, Rama to be Dasharatha. That means, think Rama as your father and look upon Sita, the daughter of Janaka, as myself. Treat Sita Mata as mother. Consider the forest as Ayodhya and depart happily, my son. This is coming from a mother. What a personality, right? What an amazing personality. Such selflessness and cooperation. That is Sumitra Mata. Now let's move on to Kunti Mata. Kunti Mata, we already were discussing about Draupathi Mata. Jai Shri Shri Radha Gopi Jana Vallabh Bhagavan ki Jai. Jai Shri Nitai Patita Pavan Gaur Hari ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So Kunti Maharani, this appears in the 8th chapter of the 1st canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. When Krishna was about to leave after protecting the Parikshit Maharaj in the womb of Uttara, he was about to leave for Dwaraka. At that time, Kunti Maharani came and she started saying wonderful prayers. If we know Kunti Maharani's life full of, very, very deep pastimes and full of sacrifice. When she was a very young girl, at that time itself, after serving Durvasa Muni, she got special benedictions. And she, as a child, with innocence, she just wanted to test if that boon works. And there appeared Karna. And then at the right time, she helped. She gave the right advice to Pandu, and she got all the children. All very illustrious children, perfect children that one can expect for all the Pandavas. Everyone is the best in each area, and they were perfect in their qualities. But still, her life was full of suffering, full of so many distress. So if you see Kunti Maharani, and after that, the children were also, in a trick of this particular game, they were cheated, and they were also, similar to Lord Ram, they were also kicked out of the kingdom. And they went through so much difficulties because Duryodhan, that guy, he was trying to kill these Pandavas again and again and again in so many ways. So can you imagine the state of mother's heart? All the time, all the time their life is in danger. But Krishna's mercy, they were protected completely. Even during Kurukshetra, Pandava's army was considerably less. And their army, Kaurava's army, was much bigger. The Akshonis were many in number. But still, Krishna's mercy, they were protected and they won. And finally, Yudhishthira Maharaj was coronated as the emperor. Now, Krishna was about to leave to Dwaraka. At that time, she says these prayers. When we read these prayers, you will never hear anyone reciting this kind of prayer. Very difficult. Who in the world will ask for more problems? And she is asking, as a mother who went through so much of difficulties, she's asking, let these, saying Vipada Shantu Saswat, in that she says, I wish that all those calamities would happen again, so that we can see you again and again, Krishna. Kunti Maharani is praying to Krishna these prayers. And the next prayer is also very, very nice. It comes from 18 to, I think, 43, I believe, the 26 verses, all Kunti Maharani's prayers. I believe these are the first prayers offered in Srimad Bhagavatam, I guess. The Bhagavatam is full of prayers, and Kunti Maharani's prayers are always revered very high and always chanted. And this prayer, she says, Payi me ranya vishaya matir madhupate sakrit ratim utpahadat adha gange vaham udanvati. She says, O Lord of Madhu, as the Ganges forever flows to the sea without hindrance, let my attraction be constantly drawn unto you without being diverted to anyone else. This is Kunti Maharani's prayers. You can understand the caliber and the devotion for the Supreme Lord. And this is the anxiety formula Amarendra Prabhu gave. So I thought, we'll just give this also. He says, when we think about these three things, will really help us and calm down our mind. Krishna is always in control and he never makes mistakes. And he always loves me. If you think these three words, it will help all of us. So let's, come to Mother's Supreme Mother, Srimati Radharani. Prabhupada, we have heard from Prabhupada and all the Acharyas. If you want to please Krishna, you have to please Srimati Radharani. And to please Krishna, we need to surrender, because that's what Krishna says. He says, Mam Ekam Sharanam Raja. He says, Mam Ekam, exclusively you surrender to me. But here, Mother, Prabhupada said it once, even if you don't have the required qualifications, but we worship sincerely, we have that sincerity. Sincerity is the key. Then Mother Radharani, she will go to Krishna and said, this devotee, he is far more qualified than me and he will serve you very nicely, Krishna. Please take him in. Krishna can never say no to Srimati Radharani. She says, yes, what to do? I have to take him in. Then he will give the required qualification and take him in. That is the power. That is the influence Radharani has, Srimati Radharani has on Krishna. More than that, the love. That is the deep love. Completely selfless love. And that Supreme Mother, to please that Supreme Mother, what do we need to do? When that same Supreme Mother, she appeared in Kali Yuga as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Radha and Krishna combined, combined avatar. They came as, Radha Krishna came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And they made it very easy. We don't have to perform, long meditations. We don't have to perform big yajnas or, very intense temple worship. We have to follow whatever has been given. But in the previous Yuga, these were the process for perfecting one's life. But in Kali Yuga, the Supreme Mother made it so easy so that all of us can do by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. By chanting this mantra, sincerity. With sincerity, if we do this, follow the regulative principles given by the acharyas and serve the devotees, Prabhupada gave us the guarantee. In this very life, one can go back to the spiritual world. That is all happened by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is none other than Radharani and Krishna. Srimati Radharani ki jai. We'll quickly end with this. We were towards the end. A very important point for us to understand. Kunti Maharani, Kunti Mata and Gandhari, both are wonderful mothers. Gandhari also, she was very chaste to Dhritarashtra. She was ready to even tie her own eyes throughout her life. So we cannot underestimate her. She had such an immense power too. Such mystic powers also she had. What was the difference? What was the difference is, Chaitanya Charan Prabhu says this, horizontal and vertical relationships. We all have this. Horizontal relationships. In this world, whatever relationships we have, mother, father, relatives, friends, all these are on horizontal level. They are called as horizontal relationships. And all of us have a vertical relationship with Krishna. All of us. When these two, they are like symbiotic. Symbiotic in the sense, those who all know this term, that means both complement each other. Both has to complement each other. So when it is done like that, then life will be peaceful, perfect, and happy. But in Gandhari's case, what happened? Her vertical relationship with Krishna was very weak. We all know Mahabharata, right? We heard about it. At a time, she even dared to curse Krishna, right? And yes, of course, an amazing mother. But the vertical relationship with Krishna was weak. Because of that, she could not uplift her children's consciousness. She could not uplift her consciousness of Duryodhana and all the Kauravas. Even Duryodhana knew that Krishna is the supreme when Krishna came as Shantidut. But still, he didn't have that transformation in his heart. So this is an important point for all of us to understand. We need to have a strong vertical relationship with Krishna. When we have that, the horizontal relationships will automatically, because it is symbiotic, will be wonderful. So it is a very important point for us to remember and work towards it. That means we need to work towards our vertical relationship to make it more stronger. So these are the personalities we saw. For personal example, we saw Narada Muni's mother, selflessness Queen Kunti, compassion and forgiveness Draupathi Mata, guidance and support Suniti, sacrifice and care Mother Rajani Devi, and patience and tolerance Shibhumi Devi. And of course, personification of mercy and compassion, Srimati Radharani. So once again, thank you all so much. Once again, we wish you all the mothers, with gratitude, we wish you all a very, very happy Mother's Day. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Please excuse me, I went over time. Please forgive me for that. I went 10 minutes over. So we will not take questions. Is that okay?
It's not okay.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much for explaining the wonderful qualities of the mother from Srimad Bhagavatam. In the start of the lecture, we heard that several times from Draupathi. To know the father, we must approach mother. Unfortunately, in this world, we don't have faith on the mother scripture, especially talking to any of our scriptures. What we can do to bring that awareness or that faith on the scriptures is not there. If we don't have that, then the obvious result is we cannot find it. How we can, even the mother is basic. Somebody is like, if we cannot approach mother, there is no point of living actually.
Right.
How we can have that faith on the scriptures, really understand.
I understand, Prabhuji. First of all, we all know who Nandiniketan Prabhu is. He's far more exalted. So this is a viva for me. So I need to answer. Sorry. I heard from Shyam Kishore Prabhuji once he was mentioning about, we must hear from pure devotees, great acharyas. Only then our faith in scriptures will develop. Is that right, Prabhuji? In this line you said, that is very, very important. Everything starts from Shravanam. That's why Prahlad Maharaj said, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam. That's how he starts. So we must start with Shravanam. I've heard it almost all the yatras, His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, he would say the first day of yatra, don't try to see the holy places. Try to hear, and through your hearing, see the places and appreciate. So hearing from the pure devotees will help us. That's how most of us, almost all of us came, right? Most of us attended 6-day courses or some classes in the temple, are devotees. By hearing gradually. For me also, I've never read Bhagavad Gita before coming to Krishna consciousness. I might have seen it, but not with attention. Bhagavatam I've never heard. Chaitanya Charitamrita I've never heard. All this came because we heard from devotees, sincere devotees. So hearing is the key, Prabhuji. So when we hear from pure devotees, then the magic will happen. Thank you, Prabhuji. So I hope with that we will conclude. Thank you all so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. No. Prabhuji, you want to make an announcement? No. We will all proceed for prasadam upstairs. Upstairs. Oh, sorry, outside. Not upstairs, outside. Prasadam will be served outside. Thank you all so much. We look forward to seeing you all again and again, more and more. Thank you. Please. Oh, sorry, devotees in Zoom. Please excuse me. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.